Alright, boys, let's talk Knicks Pistons. I have seen so many people say the Pistons are going to upset the Knicks that I'm not even sure it'd be an upset at this point. But real quick, Dame is back. Like I said in my vid, I'm happy to be wrong. Like, Dame is going to be playing, I guess. I mean, he's not going to play in game one, and there's going to be a ramp-up thing. I'm not going to even attempt to have a medical opinion about the whole thing. I just hope Dame is all good and ready to go. I'll talk a little bit more about that series at the end. Anyway, Pistons-Knicks. So Cade has mostly done whatever he's wanted to do against the Knicks this season. Whether it's making pull-ups versus Cat dropping back, whether it's being too big for Deuce, whether it's getting past Cat or hitting Duren with bounce passes when Cat's high up on screens, putting Brunson in actions to get a couple of big threes in the fourth quarter in their January game. So what do the Knicks do? Well, first off, I feel like OG is just the better matchup than McHale there. I just feel like OG has the strength to not get knocked off his spot, especially when Cade gets around the free throw line, because he loves to operate in that area off of screens. So we'll see there. After that, it just becomes Cat and Brunson dealing with Cade. So I think the Pistons are going to have to be pretty ruthless with putting Brunson in actions, which they have done at times where, like, if Brunson is on Hardaway, then Hardaway will screen for Cade. And the idea there for the Knicks is Brunson's either going to hedge and recover and try to get back to Hardaway, or he's going to switch and then it's going to have to be like heavy help or potentially a double. You're forcing the Knicks to problem solve. You're forcing them to make rotations. You're forcing Brunson to have to move, and that can create driving lanes for Cade. It can create opportunities for Tobias, Asar, Hardaway, Schroeder, Beasley, the whole team, right? And if Brunson is still feeling anything with his ankle, I know we all think about it mostly on offense, but we could see that on defense too. The other thing too with Brunson though is, sure, like there is not a second all-star on this team, but Tobias, if he gets Brunson on him, he can take him down low. If Hardaway has Brunson on him, they can just run Hardaway off of screens, like I said. If Schroeder has Brunson, he can just run some screen actions. You're not going to have Schroeder run your offense, but obviously he can do stuff with the ball in his hands. And if it's Brunson on Asar, yeah, Asar is not a shooter, but Asar can make plays with the ball. He can make all types of plays. He can cut, he can drive off the catch, he can go for offensive rebounds like crazy if Brunson's on him. So they just got to make Brunson really never able to relax on defense. Similar thing with Beasley, like I said with Hardaway. If Brunson's on Beasley, start running Beasley off of screens. I mean, he's going to do that anyway. Beasley's going to take a lot of threes in this series. So that's that. And then also, if you can get the Brunson switch onto Cade and then go at Cat on screens, like that would be great. You're putting those two in the action. And then after that, it's just Cat guarding Cade screen actions. Whether he's dropping back on screens, whether he's higher up on screens, we get it. Like, Cat is not competing for an all-defense team. I feel like it kind of just comes down to, will the Knicks put two on Cade, just dare the rest of the Pistons to beat them? Not for whole games, but stretches, you know. Of course, they'll dare Asar. When Holland's out there, they're not going to guard him at all. If they can force Duren to make plays in the middle of the floor, I'm sure they'll love that. If they want to really mess with the matchup, you can try moving Cat onto, let's say, Asar, have a wing on the center. And there is also Mitch and what it looks like for him. Because a big thing with the Pistons in this series is just going to be toughness and being physical as they can be with the Knicks, especially Cat, I feel like. And they might need to lean on Mitch more to match the toughness and all that, and also just grab a crap ton of offensive rebounds. But then that means we're doing the Mitch Cat lineup, or else Mitch just isn't really going to play that much. We'll see if Cade can keep the turnovers down, and we'll just see what Cade's everything is in this series. I feel like you might have to take a crazy amount of shot attempts in some of these games. I do think around the midpoint of the series, you're going to just start seeing a lot of, they really need to get Cade a second guy takes. Ivy got hurt middle of the season, we all know that. So anyway, now we go to the other side of the floor. The Pistons have the fifth best defense since January 1st. I'm assuming, as we all are, that Asar is going to be on Brunson the most. Although Cade has been on Brunson more than you might expect. If Asar can just really bother Brunson, and also if the Pistons do a good job of not just giving the Knicks any switch they want off of a screen to get Asar off of Brunson, then I think things start getting really interesting. We'll see with Brunson's ankle. Holland and Schroeder will probably get some minutes on him too. I mean, the Pistons are just going to have to make the Knicks very uncomfortable, be really physical, especially with Stu and Holland and Asar. Again, the Knicks will act like Holland does not exist whenever he is on the three-point line. You know, Duren will be physical as well, but that's kind of the name I'm thinking about the most. He was in my one question for every East video. Jalen Duren's defense. The Knicks are going to put him in a million screen actions. And Cat is going to be going at him in one-on-ones as well, and so between protecting the basket versus Brunson, hedging and recover if they want to do that, closing out to Cat if he's the one who's got to do it when Cat is popping, somebody else might have to do it. I say this because Duren has spent a lot of time on Cat this season. There is the possibility of you go with Duren on Josh Hart, and then you put, I mean, I guess it would be Tobias on Cat. Like, he's their biggest forward. You could see what it looks like with Asar, but even then Cat outweighs Asar by a good amount. But Asar could definitely bother him on the three-point line especially. And of course, if Duren does end up on Josh Hart, then the Knicks will lean on Hart more as a screener for Brunson. They will also, I do think they forget about this sometimes, but they can also have Hart bring the ball up and initiate the offense to pull the center out that way. And of course, we all know with Josh Hart, he's going to play a lot of minutes. He is going to grab a lot of rebounds, a lot of rebounds. And they're going to need him to match the toughness of the Pistons as well. But yeah, as far as Stewart or Duren, Stu is tough enough and weighs about the same as Cat. Now, Cat has a few inches on him, but yeah, I think Stu could definitely hold his own in the post against Cat and probably have the best chance of like really bothering Cat, because we do know that playoff Cat, it's been a roller coaster. We'll just say that. Sometimes he can get too in his own head. He can get mad at the refs, whatever. He's had some great moments as well. I will not forget the first half against the Nuggets, where if it's not for him, they're down by a lot going into that third quarter. Now, if we end up seeing Cat and Mitch together, then the Pistons' lineup questions become really interesting, because your regular lineups might be too small, but also they just don't play Stu and Duren together. So I don't know, that's cool. Besides that, we got to talk about OG and McHale, man. They cannot forget about these two on the wing. I mean, McHale, anytime you can get him his pull-up fadeaway things around the paint, off of any screen action, especially with Cat, you do it. I mean, I'm thinking about Brunson going to Duren, but like it's going to be McHale as well, hopefully. Again, don't forget about him. Now, I will say, Asar did start on McHale in the January matchup before eventually going to Brunson. If Asar is on him, then I don't know, maybe you're not going to see as much McHale scoring. And then as far as OG, the offensive stretch that OG was on recently, man, where it was a lot of self-creation stuff, like drives out of ISOs, some kind of stiff-looking step-back or pull-up threes, but, he still made some. Also giving him some screens to come out of the corner off the ball. Like, there was enough there to where you can't just treat OG like a role player offensively, and he's going to have opportunities to work, man. I mean, Tobias, if it's Hardaway. I mean, I do think it's very easy in this matchup to just kind of get fixated on the point guards and the centers, just given the star players here, but OG and McHale can score. I know, hot take. And then once again, my guy Josh Hart, he's going to play 45 minutes a game. He's going to have a whole lot of numbers. Deuce won't be afraid of anything. I've already said that enough times. And then will Tibbs trust enough of Shamet, campaign? Does Tyler Kolek see like 4 minutes in any of these games? I don't know, man. It's Tibbs we're talking about. The way the Pistons pull this off is that they're really physical and weirdly equipped to make the matchup stuff tough for the Knicks. And they bother the hell out of Cat especially. And maybe Brunson's ankle still isn't all the way there. And then Cade just cooks. And the way that the Knicks win this is that they're just the better, more talented team. Anyway, I'm taking the Knicks. I know, you're disappointed. A lot of people believe the Pistons are going to pull this off. I understand the Knicks' record versus the best teams and all that, but I just think the Pistons, if they could get another real scorer next to Cade, then we start having some very fun convos about this team. Until then, I can't get there. Although I see the template for it, where it's like, one game Beasley goes nuts from 3, next game it's Hardaway, next game Tobias, but I just think that's tough to rely on for a playoff series. I think like a month ago I said that if this matchup happened, I would go with the Knicks in 5. I'll go with the Knicks in 6 games. The Pistons getting 2 playoff wins after last year. I mean, still just being here at all after last season is still good stuff, but they managed to blow past the expectations so much that now, here we are. It's good stuff. Anyway, at the very end here, let's go back to Pacers, Bucks for a little bit. Does my prediction for the series change now that Dame will be here at some point? At the risk of being a party pooper, look, again, I'm very happy to see Dame. No, I'm still going to take the Pacers.